welcome back to our plus yet again. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's a little bit of a rainy Wednesday. Forget rain, it's a little bit of a soggy Wednesday. Yeah. Whew, yeah. Quite soggy. But that's okay because I actually enjoy the rain just a little bit. We're on Wednesday. Just a quick look-see at what happened yesterday. I jumped the gun on the trade. I jumped it quite harshly. I thought this was a fair value gap. I mean, we did get a fair value gap here. We went to the 5-minute. And on the 5-minute, I wanted to wait. I wanted to see level test. Instead of us seeing this, we entered on this candle way up here, thinking, yes, this is a valid level test. It's going to continue lower. Or no, it's actually going to continue higher because it wouldn't close that off. It didn't close it off quite completely, but it did move down far enough for it to have a significant impact on later trend, and sure enough, we didn't last very long. I say didn't last very long. We lasted a decent while. It kept going and dipped down. We barely missed this one here, and eventually it stopped us out. The idea was that based on this fair value gap and the continuation, we would have price continue higher. That idea was solid. What I did wrong was I split my attention, my focus, between watching this and editing a video, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but when you're doing something tedious, and you know things can happen quite quickly when tedious or fun gets involved, to turn back and see that your screen is almost the same, yet something's different. Oh no, it could be something you might have missed. I jumped the gun. Today we're going to do a little bit better at not jumping the gun and instead looking for an entry. A valid entry that says we're going this way, not the other way. Okay? Okay. We're going to move up to the hour. Let's take a look at the MACD real quick because I noticed this first thing as soon as I popped up this whole application. We've been in the red for a while now. SMA has been below the EMA for a minute. You can see that here. Do I think it'll continue lower? Not necessarily. I do believe we have had a long stretch down. I do believe up is the preferred direction. Let's take a look at news real quick. We have 3 triple red. Golly, high impact news. Average hourly earnings. That's been roughly the same. Greater than forecast good for currency. Crazy stuff happening there. So, I was reading this right here. Looks like this is going to be lesser than forecast, which means we'll see price rise. this right here, actual greater than forecast is good for currency. We're looking at this number here. This was greater, this was greater, this was greater. We might see price rise. Forecast is greater than previous. And finally, unemployment rate, we have actual less than forecast good for currency. So if it's red here, that means it'll go down. If it's green here, that means it'll go up. For the most part, looking at that's greater. That's greater, that's lesser. So we could be seeing price move up from this one as well if it decides to continue higher. All right, that's been analyzed. Up seems to be the direction news is going to want to take it, and it's going to be a big old leap when news pops up. So let's take a look at what it might be targeting real quick. We have trendline highs all throughout this. Could it break structure? Absolutely. Do I think it will break structure? So far, my best guesses have been completely wrong as of recently. So we're going to take things nice and slow today. Nice and slow. Things are going to speed up crazy fast, but we're going to do our best. Right. My control for this right here, which means we will be seeing price rise. Just on the same side. We have relative equal volume nodes here all throughout this. A lot of volume down low. You know it's going to gear up to go high. When is this all hitting? 8:30. So in an hour and 30 minutes, we'll be seeing those news folders hit, and each one's going to have a semi-relative impact on what price is going to want to do. Strategy remains the same as far as I'm concerned. Looking at what this general move is doing right here, we have a fair value gap, we have a low form, boom, and it came down to retest this low, although this is not necessarily a low. It did come down to test it. And we can see the strong reaction from testing this low prematurely. It's wanting to continue higher, but before it can, it's got to create a low that tests this and this respectively, and then it'll continue higher from there. I think what's going to happen is news is going to come out, and what's going to happen is that we're going to see an unexpected number, and price is going to go lower first. When it goes low, it'll sweep these. Maybe that's what it is. When this right here says we should revise the expectations, at least per the White House, right? All of this says we should be expecting price to go higher, as in everything's lesser, actual is lesser and this actual is greater, right? We should be seeing price continue, or yeah, this one should be lesser, and it should be continuing higher, I think. I want to I want to win this trade. pause the video and wake up for a second, because I honestly have an idea of what market's going to do, but I don't think it's the correct idea. And so before I make the wrong decision, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video. And when I get back, I'm going to reanalyze the chart. News is going to come up, and it's going to be a very, very high impact gist. It's going to be very volatile when it comes in. Because of this, I cannot make an accurate prediction until after. And because after is a little bit shaky, I want to know. Either A, when the news comes out, price will dip. When it dips, it'll sweep the lows. That'll prep it to go higher. But at the same time, if it's such an extreme dip, we should be seeing it continue lower. Why? Because it's a fair value gap. It's broken not just past the balance area, but it's also presented a huge gap in price. That'll have to be revisited, retested, and eventually passed or failed. That's how those work. And if in the event it dips below the lows but doesn't present a gap, we'll be looking for it to rebound and continue higher and potentially break out of the balance area in that direction. Regardless of what happens, we're going to be seeing a large amount of volatility, and we're going to be seeing at least one gap. And that gap is going to ultimately tell us, hey, we've either broke past the balance area or we've just swept past this region of price. And we'll see it continue either in the opposite direction or the current direction, dependent on that gap. So, with that being said, we'll pause the video now. Let's see what happens. Alright, everybody. Looking at chart. News just hit. Let's take a look at what it has done. Wow. That's a big old green. Greater good for currency. I see moving up. Greater good for currency. I see it moving up. That's a serious number compared to before. And lesser good for currency. I see it as a green, which means price will be moving up. Now the real question. What's the reaction from news? This could clearly be a fair value gap. Very much so a fair value gap if we wanted it to be. I want to watch this ever so carefully. Because depending on what this leaves behind, what levels are tested from this, will determine where our direction is. This is kind of good for us because I'm looking at price just soar up above all of it. Not only is it breaking structure trend-wise, we broke above this high here, we broke above this high here, but we're also getting a very large, very, very, very stern candle. And as a result of this candle moving in the direction it is in, fingers crossed, the next candle leaves that gap the way we want it to, and we get a retest of a level and then continuation. Do I think price is going to continue higher? The likelihood is there, but we are in a fairly certain downtrend. This could just be the latest high before the fall. We really need to see exactly what's about to happen here, because we could be seeing a fake out moment. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna wait and see exactly what happens. I want to see if our value gap on the high time frame, and then we'll move on down to the lower time frame. We're gonna take it nice and slow. BRB. Okay. We got a big ol' move up. This candle's closed up here. I want to see. Oh, sorry, forgot I'm unmuted. My bad. My bad. I'm over here recording a video at the same time. Unmute. So we got a big old candle. Boom. It's closed. Left a big old gap. We got a small opening right here. Kind of wanting to retrace. Let's go to the 5 minute. I want to use the fair value gap left behind as a sort of guide, right? It hasn't opened yet, but I'm inclined to use it anyway. What I want to do is I want to wait for it to rebound, test, and then continue higher. If it doesn't do that, it'll continue lower. It'll break structure, whatever. It's going to move much lower. I want to see it happen, though. Yeah, there's pretty much nothing else we can do outside of just wait, so I'm here, waiting. Okay, so I've been watching this for a minute now. We got a giant fair value gap on the high time frame right here. Boom, as you can see. Big old fair value gap on the high time frame. It has not finished forming yet. Has not finished. However, from here, we went to the 5 minute. We looked for the lowest point after and the highest point after, right? And we noticed that after the high was tested, we had a strong reaction back down to the low. Boom. And now we're seeing price continue on beyond that. Low, closing below, breaking structure. Hold on yards. We should see it continue to move down. Even the MACD is saying, hey, this is the great opportunity right here to go ahead and enter in on a short position. And of course, the volume profile is meeting that expectation with an imbalance here, a big old imbalance here between buyers and sellers. I think price is going to continue lower based on volume profile, the fact of the imbalance here, and we just broke structure here, as well as a fair value gap that was previously made by news, and now we are seeing a volumetric reaction on open based on the MACD and the volume profile. We're going to go ahead and pause the video again. I just wanted to quickly give you guys the setup, what I've entered on, why I entered, and where I think it's going to go based on where it is now. Low's the direction, down is the direction I've entered in on a 1 to 4 risk to reward ratio, as you can see here. 1 to 4.17-ish. We can go a little bit further like into that. It's 1 to 4.24. It's just a matter of waiting for this to continue on down. Do I think it'll hit all the way down here? It's a likely possibility. Realistically speaking, I want to take out 2.02 of this number right here out on this node here, because this will have completely closed the imbalance per the volume profile right here. And I want to see it continue lower beyond that point with just 0.01 to see if we can make up for what we've lost the past couple of days. Yeah. So far, I'm in the right. I mean, this says right here I'm in the right. This says this red line past this red line here says I'm in the right, in the green, right? Now it's just a matter of waiting. I'm gonna go ahead and move this over here so you can see exactly what's going on within this screen. Not hard to see. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video now. We'll be right back. I've entered in on trade. See how it goes. Okay, so we have been in trade for a minute. We just hit our point control 1. I think it'll continue lower. I just took off 0.01 of this number here. As you can see, our size is now 0.02. And this is our current profit and loss. Per the trade, we did this. I took one off, but it hasn't like brought it back. Oh wait, maybe it's this right here that'll show me. No? I don't know what the heck happened. I took off 0.01, but it didn't bring in anything. Yeah. Take profit there. That wasn't a stop loss. I legitimately took it off. Maybe it'll display it after the entire position is closed. Maybe. Not entirely sure. I just wanted to give it that quick update. We took off 0.01 of the total we've put in. I'm looking for it to continue lower to our final take profit here. Could take a little bit. Could be the next couple of minutes that we hit that low. Won't know it until it happens. That being said, more waiting to do. It's currently 10:04. We got 30 minutes until our window close. I want to wait until that close happens for us to completely exit out of trade. Yeah, I'm just waiting. BRB. It's dangling there, chat. Look at that. Comment section. See how close that is? Here we go. Successful trade today. The entrance was a little scary. I'm not going to lie. It was a little scary. Okay. We entered way the flip up here after we had seen a price level rejection on the highs after a major imbalance from news. This was our fair value gap on the hour. And then based on the high left behind and then retested, failed, we entered on this candle here because we had noticed it had broke structure. And based on the volume profile as well as the MACD, we saw that price was going to be in a much larger retrace, and we decided to enter here on the premise that, yeah, price was going to break and continue much, much lower. As you can see, price is continuing much lower. I'm confident that this was a decent trade. It was a decent trade. We made back what we lost the other day, and just so we're on the same page, let's take a look at here. We exited the first time with this, right? This was our initial trade. This was the fee to enter. This was what we pulled off the first round. And then this one right here was the cost for pulling up this. And then for our final take profit, we hit 92 cents and pulled off another -2 for the fee. Good trade. Nothing bad to say about that outside of I should be a little bit more confident when looking for this setup. Yeah. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. My name's Orb. If you like the video, there's a thumbs up button down below as well as the subscribe button. The subscribe button essentially says, hey, I want to see more of you. It tells YouTube, I want to see more of this guy. Put him up on my For You page. Why? Because you'll enjoy the content and might want to see more later on. See how successful I can be and all that fun jazz. Or just watch and wait for me to crash and burn. One of the two. The likes essentially tell me you want to see more of this kind of content and that I should continue with this kind of content. Again, I'm not entirely looking for audience tractions from this one, right? Because this kind of video, these videos where I'm just displaying my trades and my charts and my strategies and actually attempting to make a really good trade, is primarily for my note taking. This informs me on what areas I need to improve on, what areas I need to relax on, whole 9 yards, and allows me to adapt to further market movements. Ultimately, I am here in these videos attempting to make money, whereas you could be here to take notes right alongside me. You have a similar idea, you think you have a better fix on your scenario, and based on my failures, you could take notes if you want to as well. I am not a financial advisor, and I will never advise anyone on their finances, so your actions are your own responsibility, and from it, I will have no sway in the matter. This was a good video. This was a good trade. I'll be looking back at this video for notes later on, as well as my other videos. Yeah. You guys have a great one, okay? Peace.